My name is Muhammad Arshad bin Mutta, and my number is S7023. I will present introduction and hazard part. As industrial activity in Malaysia continue to expand, the amount of wastewater produced also increase. Some industry may discharge untreated or poorly treated wastewater directly into the river, causing serious pollution problem. This situation is not only affect the river water quality, but also threatening aquatic ecosystem, public health, and environment. Industrial wastewater can also create several types of hazard. First is chemical hazard. Industrial wastewater may contain harmful substances such as heavy metal, ammonia, oil, grease, and other toxic chemicals. These pollutants reduce river water quality and can harm aquatic life as well as human who use water source. Next is biological hazard. Wastewater may contain harmful microorganisms such as bacteria and virus. These microorganisms can spread waterborne disease and make the river unsafe for public use. Biological contamination can also affect aquatic microorganisms living in the river ecosystem. Another hazard is physical hazard. Industrial discharge can increase water turbidity, change the color of the river, produce unpleasant odor, and increase water temperature. This change disturb the natural ecosystem and reduce overall river water quality. Lastly, industrial wastewater also create environmental health hazard. Polluted river may experience low dissolved oxygen level, which can lead to the fish death and damage aquatic ecosystem. Human exposed to the polluted river may suffer skin irritation, breathing difficulty, nausea, and other health problems. A well-known example is Kim River toxic pollutant incidents, where illegal chemical dumping released toxic fumes that affected nearby residents and students, causing symptoms such as dizziness, vomiting, headache, and breath difficulty.
For exposure assessment, we analyze how industrial and wastewater pollutant enter rivers and expose human and aquatic ecosystem in Malaysia. Major contributing countries such as palm oil processing, chemical, textile, and food processing industries, they release pollutants such as heavy metals, oil and grease, nutrient, and suspended solid into the river if the wastewater treatment is not efficient. And then human exposure occurs two pathways such as direct and indirect. Direct exposure happens when a community use the contaminated river water for their domestic activities and recreational purpose. It means that people use the contaminated water from the river for their routine, such as drinking, washing, and cooking. Indirect exposure occurs through the food chain. It means that toxic substances such as mercury, cadmium, and lead consumed by the fish in the river, and then the fishes got consumed by the human. This leads the human to consume the toxics from the river through the fish they ate. Last but not least, aquatic ecosystem may experience continuous exposure due to wastewater are being discharged directly to the river. Fishes, algae, and aquatic plants are especially vulnerable. During the low river flow, pollutant become more concentrated in the river. Then this increasing the ecological risk and it reduces the water quality. Dose response assessment explains how different pollutant concentration affects human and ecosystem. In general, higher pollutant concentration and may cause the longer exposure period result in more severe effect. At low exposure level, pollutant may reduce the dissolved oxygen and then they cause the stress to aquatic organism. This causing disturbance to the river ecosystem. However, high and prolonged exposure may lead to fish mortality and habitat destruction. Heavy metals such as mercury and lead and cadmium are particularly dangerous. This because they accumulate in the aquatic organism over time and then they can disturb the food chain. For human, long-term exposure may cause the skin to irritate and nausea, and also they cause the breathing discomfort. For long-term exposure, they can increase the risk of kidney damage and cancer. During 2019, Kim River was polluted where the illegal chemical discharge, and this has caused respiratory system among the student and resident in the area.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Nushaza Alia, matrix number S75014. So my part is about risk characterization. So, industrial wastewater discharge can pose moderate to high environmental risk, especially when the wastewater is not properly treated before being released into rivers. Industrial effluent may contain organic pollutants, toxic chemicals, oils, and heavy metals that can reduce dissolved oxygen levels and increase river pollution. This condition can disturb the natural balance of the river ecosystem and harm aquatic organisms such as fish and other river species. In Malaysia, this issue is particularly important because rivers are widely used as source of raw water supply, domestic activities, and recreation. Pollution incidents involving rivers such as Sungai Selangor and Sungai Sembenih have shown that contaminated wastewater can force water treatment plants to shut down, leading to major water supply disruptions for consumers. Besides, short-term impact continuous wastewater discharge may also create long-term environmental problems. Certain pollutants, especially heavy metals, can accumulate in river sediments and aquatic organisms over time. This may reduce biodiversity effect, the food chain, and lower the overall health of the river ecosystem. Therefore, industrial wastewater pollution should be considered not only as an environmental issue, but also a risk to public health and also water security. So next, I will continue about mitigation measures. The most important mitigation measure is to ensure that industrial wastewater is properly treated before being discharged into the river. Treatment processes such as primary, secondary, and tertiary treatment help remove solids, organic pollutants, nutrients, and also hazardous substances so that the effluent meets environmental standards. Proper treatment is essential to reduce the impact of wastewater on river ecosystem and water quality. Routine monitoring is also necessary to ensure that the discharge remains within acceptable limits. Parameters such as pH, BOD, COD, suspended solids, and also ammonia, and also heavy metals should be monitored regularly. In addition, river water quality upstreams and downstreams of the discharge point should be also be checked to detect any sign of pollution early. Industries should also implement source control measures such as reducing chemical use, preventing spills and leaks, and also reusing water where possible. Staff training and proper maintenance of treatment system are important to improve compliance and reduce accidental pollution incidents. Finally, strong enforcement and legal action against illegal discharge are needed to ensure industries follow environmental regulation and protect river water quality in Malaysia.
The next part is regulatory and policy framework. First one is EQA 1974 and second is Environmental Quality Industrial Effluent Regulation 2009. The environmental risk assessment is important for industrial wastewater discharge. It is related to Section 25 of the EQA 1974. According to DOE, industrial wastewater discharge have two standards. Standard A is upstream of water intake and Standard B is downstream area. Under 5th schedule, factories must treat wastewater to comply with strict chemical parameters and conditions. Here is some of the parameters and conditions that the factories should comply in the Section 25. There is some of the potential improvement that can be take action by the Malaysia government and every company that related to the industrial wastewater discharge. The last one is conclusion. As a conclusion, we know that industrial wastewater discharge has a negative impact on the environment and human health. If any action is not taken seriously, it will affect the condition of the river. So, the mitigation need to be implemented directly to prevent any problems. Also, the government should take action to ensure all the mitigation and policy take place on a regular basis. That's all from me. Thank you.